Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So a couple of days ago I did a flip through, if I can never say it properly, of the Draglings colouring book by Randal Spangler, and I was so excited by this book that I thought we would do a colour along together, or a colour with me together as I call them. So the page that I have chosen is this one, Sundae Delight. I just thought there are lots of little elements in there that we can enjoy, and it's such a beautiful picture. I've looked up his artwork, so some of it I'm going to do like Randal Spangler's, and others of it I'm going to do in my own colours, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. So today I am going to use my Ohuhu markers, or alcohol markers, as a base, but if you don't have them, don't worry, because I say this at the risk of repeating myself, but I've got new subscribers, and you know, they need to be able to understand why I'm doing it. I have problems with my hands, and so I like to put a colour base down. It does a couple of things, and one of the main reasons that I use it is that it takes a lot of the work out of the pencils with covering the white of the page up. So I will be doing a base with alcohol markers on most of the elements. If you don't have them, don't worry, it's not going to matter, it just helps me. Of course, if you've got them and you want to do that, then absolutely go ahead. The other thing I'm going to be using is, let me get a dark one, show it so it shows up, is the Arrtx 126 set of pencils. I absolutely adore them. In fact, they've reached out to me today and they are going to send me a set to do a full review and comparison of for you, so I will do that. Now, before we go ahead, let me just let you know that I have numbered mine. There's little numbers on the top here. Please don't worry about that. When you see the colour tickets, you'll see the numbers that relate to, one of my hairs that, relate to the pencil for me. I have dyslexic tendencies and find it really hard to go by the colour name, so I've numbered mine, but that's just for my own reference. It won't make any difference to how you have to use them. So with that said, and that out of the way, I have, because it's a colour along and it's easier for me to negotiate, I have copied the picture and trimmed it down onto some of my cardstock, which, if you're interested in the cardstock that I'm using, is in my wish list down at the bottom, I think it is. I keep it there so that I can always find it and get new supplies of it. It's really nice cardstock. There's a little bit of tooth, but it takes so many mediums so well, so that's why I stick with it. So if I move this book out of the way, I will put it back in the book when I'm done. This is a thick acetate sheet that I use for putting underneath things. I use it as an ink blending mat, all that kind of stuff. You can see it's well loved. So I'm going to put that to cover my cutting board, my big mat underneath for filming, and then we're going to start straight away. So the first thing that we're going to focus on is the banana. I do think this video may be in two parts because there are so many little elements that need to be done. So I may have to separate it into two parts, but like usual, I will try and get them up back to back so that you're not having to wait. Okay, let's come in and have a look at the banana. It's so cool, this picture. Okay, so here are the colour choices that I've got. I know there seems quite a lot, but don't panic. It's one step at a time. Okay, so I've got the Ohuhu marker, Lemon Chiffon, Dark Umber, Light Umber, Goldenrod, Chromium Yellow, I've written Cadmium Lemon, which I had to take out, Cream and White. Now I will be using the black and white Prismas, I always do. So, okay, so let's go ahead. So I'm going to take my Ohuhu marker and I'm going to use the chisel end, and we're going to fill in this banana. And for all you alcohol marker lovers out there, these big bold black lines that we have from Mr. Spangler makes colouring with alcohol markers a delight. You don't have to worry so much about going out of the lines. There we go. One banana. Easy. But what we do have to do is wait for that to dry before we can put colour over it. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to the next Ahoo marker while we're waiting, which is going to be for our cherries. And this is over here. And we're going to use the Ahoo marker Rose Pink, which is RV390. Again, don't worry if you don't have them. I'm going to use the fine end. I don't have the brush tip ones. I wish I did now when I brought them, but I really like brush tips now. I thought that I would be too shaky to use them, but they're actually really easy to use. Okay, so we're going to fill the cherries in. Up here. Now what I might do for the rest of the video, so we don't have to sit and wait for alcohol markers to dry, is base coat each one of them before I come on camera and let it dry, but I will still give you the number when we come to do the pencil work, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got all these cherries up here. So I'm going to leave that there so you can see, and I'm going to fill up the jar. Now I know everybody's saying, oh Lucy, but they're in glass. I know. We are going to use an Arrtx white acrylic paint pen. I'm going to use to put the reflections and whatnot in. And I have practiced as usual, it does look okay. And this will dry a lot lighter, so this is going to be my like highlight colour. But like I said, I've chosen a pencil for you guys that don't have these and want to follow along, that you can use without having the alcohol markers. Okay, we're going to do these ones up here. Very carefully. I'm going to switch to my fine tip. Okay, and then we've got one little cherry right on the top, and we'll colour that in too. There we go. Is there any more cherries before I go ahead? No. But, now, in the original image, this is like vanilla ice cream. I'm going to do cherry ice cream. Cherry ice cream and chocolate sauce. Just because I want it to be a nice and bright page. I think it warrants that. So we're going to fill this in too. And then our banana should be ready. So 1st of February, folks. The schools have been on strike. I've been in today because I work with vulnerable students, so I've been in working with just a couple, didn't have many. And both of them were GCSE students, so that was nice for them to have that sort of one-to-one attention, or one-to-two attention should I say, and be able to do some much needed revision and sort of guided work, which was lovely. Although I do feel sorry for the students that couldn't come in today, but needs must, eh, folks. We won't get into politics on the channel. There we go. Right, and our banana should be lovely and ready to colour in now. But the other thing about using alcohol markers, and I say it all the time, or watercolours, or whatever I'm using as a base, because I do that more and more now to save the pain in my hands, is that you can put colours down and it really feels like you've progressed quickly, which is great for a video, so you can see this kind of direction that the page is going in, and it gives you that sort of instant gratification that you don't get otherwise. So, but I will definitely be doing this more and more, this undercoat of things, but I will always work it out so that if you don't have that medium that I'm using as the undercoat, you can still follow along. There we go. Alright, so look at that already. Looks like we've done loads. Okay, so let's move those to one side and let's go back to our banana. So that's nice and dry, and that's really important that you allow your alcohol marker to dry, or any medium to dry, before you work, or you're going to pill your paper. Okay, here's our colours. So we've done that lemon chiffon, which is nice and dry. We're going to go in with dark umber, and I'm just going to get my practice picture and put it over here. And I'm going to use that to really darken up the parts of the banana that would be this beautiful brown. Right, I'm going to have to come out a little bit and then just recenter you. I'm going to have to twizzle the page a bit and then we'll come back in. Okay, dark umber, that's good. I'll wait for the camera to stop shaking. I'm going to come down this centre bit. I'm just going to do it lightly. Put this colour in, and then we'll go back in as usual and do a blend when we've got the other colours in. So, yeah, so I was quite pleased and excited that Arrtx had reached out to me and said, did I want to do a review of the pencils? They would send them to me. I was like, yes, please. Because I really do genuinely enjoy them. And they're just lovely pencils. Okay, so we're switching to light umber now. And we're going to put a little bit of that in. A little bit of the light umber in. Again, lightly. I don't want a rotten banana. But I also don't want those black lines to be predominant as much. Okay, so we're switching now to goldenrod. And this is going to give, we're going to start to bring in that highlights and tones of our banana. And the different shades that we'd have in it. So it's not just flat. Okay. A little bit of goldenrod, so not too much, see? And then we're going to add some cream. Now, this is where, if you don't have the lemon chiffon, you can use your cream as this colour. So I'm just going to do some smushing with those colours. But as you can see, look, I don't have to do half as much work as I would have to if I hadn't have got that base. So your cream is going to be the colour you'll use if you don't have the lemon chiffon. So now we can go back in and add a little bit more depth and smooth things out. So I'm going back in with goldenrod. And I'm just going to smooth out those pencil lines. Once you've got a bit of the waxy base down, it's much easier then to go back in. And also, if you do it lightly and you don't like it, it's easier to erase. Okay, we'll go back and we'll put some chromium yellow back in. My colleague at work makes the most incredible banana bread. It's just making me think about that while I'm colouring this banana cream. So now can you see why I use alcohol markers? Because although you'll get the same result, because I did practice, it takes out all that hard work on my hands. So I'm going to use a little bit of white Prisma, and I'm going to put in some highlight there, maybe a little brightness there, and then go back in with cream. Oops. Really blend those together. There we go. Am I happy with that? Do we need some more colour? Let me see. Oops, sorry. Get my brush. Okay, I want a little bit of light umber just on the ends here. And a little bit more there. Okay. I think we've created a banana, folks. And I don't want to keep going because it'll end up too dark and not banana-like. It would look like a mouldy one ready to go in the bin. Okay, we've got a banana. So if we look at these cherries now, because they're nice and dry, switch you over here. Excuse me. We'll go back to the colours. I'm going to cut the ticket in half so it makes it easier to stay on frame. So there's the colours we're using. Again, there's quite a few, but it's not scary. It's an easy process, as all my colours, all my colouring is. It's just one step at a time. Okay, so we've done the Ohuhu marker. If you don't have it, yours will still be blank. So I think this is how you say it. We've got quinacridone violet. I think that's how you say it. Again, ignore the numbers, that's just my reference. Magenta, rose red, and Baker Miller pink. Oh yes. So we're going to go in with our very dark violet. Go in with our very dark violet. Now, where we've got these lines is where I'm going to put the dark. So, and actually what you find is that black line, those black lines almost disappear. Put a little bit at the top there. And I'm almost just edging this cherry, and then I'm letting it fade out a little bit for our next colour. Don't come out too far because we've got 3 other colours to get in there. We're going to do the same this side where it's dark. Let it come out. Isn't that a gorgeous cherry colour? You could do yours bright red if you wanted, but I wanted that sort of, I don't know what they're called, the different kinds of cherries, but my favourite are these dark ones. Okay, so we're now going in with magenta, and we're going to follow that line. So this is going to really lift it, really pack a punch with colour. I'm going back over the line we've already put in with the dark violet, I'm calling it. Quinacridone. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. Okay, the same on this one. Just get a drink. So when you break down these little elements on the page, it's actually a really enjoyable process and not that scary at all. Rose red. A little bit of that. that is our sort of transition colour between that very dark and brights into our highlight colour. So we don't need too much. There we go. And then for you guys that don't have the Ahoo-Hoo, we're going to use the Baker Miller Pink, and you'll see just how close that is to that Ahoo-Hoo marker look. So I did think it through for you all. I didn't want people to say, oh great, I can't follow along. Well, you can. Okay. There we go. We're going to take the white Prisma again, and I'm going to go just over that Baker Miller Pink. I know it looks awful for a minute, hang on. Okay, and then back in with the Baker Miller Pink and put that through. And that'll just lift that even more to give us that really gorgeous highlight. There we are. 2 cherries done. Now, if we go back up to the cherry jar, we're going to do exactly the same with the cherries, but we're going to have to sort of make them out here. Sort of make them up as we go along. So, I'm going to use the black lines, and I'm going to ignore any highlights for the minute, and I'm just going to concentrate on the cherries. Let me move that out the way, it's quite distracting for you. Okay, so if we look at this side, the rest of them are quite well formed, so we know where we're going. But if we look at this side, let's just follow the outline. So we're going to take our dark violet, and I'm going to make some cherries. Okay, so we're going to have one there. That's the start of one. So let's go in with our colours. We need magenta next. I'm going to bring that in. And we're not going to get that whole cherry in view, so let's go in with our rose red. And we can stop there because it's in the edge of the jar. Okay, we're going to go back to our darkest, dark violet, and we've got another one here, look. And another one round here. So I'm just making it up to fill up that jar. Go in with magenta. And then we'll go in with, what colour is it? Rose red. In there. There we go. We can round them off a little bit more so it actually looks like a cherry shape. And then if we go in now and fill in where the actual cherries are meant to be, so we're going to have one there, make that dark. This is a cherry here, look, we've got a proper shape there. And round there. And we can just sort of bring that in as a shape. And then we just fill in with our other colours. So, magenta. Okay, then we're going to have rose red. Just checking you can see. There we go. And then your Baker Miller pink if you haven't got the Ahoo-Hoo markers. Okay. And I think that looks really cool. So this side is done for us, look. So we could just put some more defining lines in there with our dark colour, if you want. Fill in some more space with the dark. But I'm quite inclined just to leave it alone as it is. So if we look at this side, you could use this if you get a little bit lost as your guide. We go in with our dark violet. Bring out those edges. Okay. So I'm just following those black lines. like we've done with the other ones. Okay, bit in there. There we go. Okay, next colour, magenta. And I'm going to go backtrack over that, dark violet. Mind our little dragon's ear. There we go, and then we'll go in with rose red. See how quick and easy it is? It does, I have to say, it does make a huge difference if you put that base down. You don't have to work half as hard. You nearly had a pink ear roll then. And then our Baker Miller pink. And that gives us our highlights. Gonna go back in with that rose red. I don't think I've got enough of that. 45. Yeah. I think my numbering system is really going to help on the videos, because you know how I'm sort of really disorganised and can't find my pencils. I thought this really helped. I just find looking at numbers much easier than I do trying to find words and letters. They confuse me, people. Okay, there we go. Do you know what? To heck with it. We might as well just finish these last ones at the top. We'll go in with our dark, and we can have a look and feel like we've really accomplished something quite quickly. Let's go in with our dark. Go up the side. Avoid our label. And then a little bit of dark round here. Okay. Magenta. So we've gone from that really dark quinacridone violet, I don't know why I have such trouble saying that, to our beautiful Baker Miller pink. So we really get that depth of colour, which is awesome. There we go. Alright, cherries. I've only got that one in the centre to do. Let's come out and have a look. Excuse the mess on my desk. It's horrendous. There's cards and pencils in order everywhere. Okay. So, I've got this cherry to do. But already you can see that it's just jumping, isn't it? You know, that excitement. So I've got this cherry to do. The ice cream, we are going to do exactly the same. So we're going to go in where the dark spots are with our dark violet. Let me get the ticket again. We're going to go in with where the dark is with our dark violet, and then introduce the lighter colours. So should we do? Let's just do a piece together rather than me trying to explain. It might be even quicker. So if we look at this one, for example, okay, and we go in with our dark violet. I can't keep trying to say it, folks. I just can't. It's effort. Or as the children would say at school, it's long. Okay. We go in where it's dark with that violet. Then our next colour, which is magenta. I think you know the drill, but I was just making sure that you were okay with it. And then rose red. I'm going to bring that up. And this is going to be chocolate sauce, so all those black lines will disappear as well too. Okay, and then, did I put rose red in? Yeah, I have. And then our Baker Miller pink. So I'm putting that in, and then I'm going to go back in with that rose red because I'm not happy with just that dollop of colour. So I'm just going to blend that much more softly. Bring that down a little bit more. There we go. I'm back in with that Baker Miller pink. There we go. That's better. So we've now really got a really good pop of colour. So that's exactly the same. They're going to be done exactly the same as the rest of the cherries. So what I'm going to do now, like I said earlier, is I am going to go off and base the bits that I know what colours we're going to have with my alcohol markers. Don't panic, if you want to follow along, I'll still have the colours for you to put the base colour down. Then I'll come back with my tickets and we will continue to colour the page. Alright folks, I'll see you in a second. Okay, oh, excuse me. I have completed the cherries. I'm not sure whether we need to do a couple in there at the top of the jar, but we'll think about that later. And I've done the basing of the alcohol marker, so we're ready to go. So I thought we'd focus on the chocolate sauce, and this in the original picture is not cut off, it's actually a tin of chocolate syrup, so we're going to do that the same. So if I bring you in, we've got quite a few colours, but again, don't be worried about it, and don't be worried about the base if you don't have a hoo-hoo marker. Like I say again, it won't matter. So we've got 70% warm grey, which will give us our real depth at the bottom where the chocolate sauce is pooling. Dark umber, burnt umber, Mars brown, and then we're going to use the cream. So this is almost going to be obliterated, but it's just, like I say, to save my hands, so please don't worry about that. So we're going to focus on this gorgeous chocolate sauce first. So let's come down this edge here, and we're going to use the 70% warm grey for our really dark edge. Just check about the right. Yeah. 70% warm grey for our really dark edge, where it's making me hungry, the chocolate sauce is all pooling and spilling on down there. Okay. Alright, just going to soften that edge a little bit for our next colour. There we go. Then we're going to take dark umber, and as usual we're going to go over that. Come under that little bit of sauce there, a little bit of ice cream rather, and we're going to bring that out. And then soften up that edge. Ready for our next colour. A little bit of that in there. Okay, next colour. This is where we're going to start to get the chocolatey colour. So we're going to have some reddy browns go in. So we're going to use the burnt umber. And again, backtrack, go over those colours. And here we'll start to get that lovely red colour of chocolate, reddy brown colour. Okay, just go around there a little bit. Like I say, backtrack over because that will give us that nice red tone that we want. Okay, then we're going to put in the gorgeous Mars brown, which is a really lovely colour. Okay. And then, right, what we're going to do here, if you don't have the base colour down, we are going to make sure we've got enough of that going on, and then really lightly bring that into our highlight area. So just lightly. So I'm going right over that colour that I put down. Otherwise it's going to look like caramel. I don't want caramel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our cream and we're going to do some smushing. So we're going to smush that Mars brown into that cream. Then we're going to get our highlight. Okay. Then we can just go back and re-deepen. So if we go back to the two red browns, so we go to burnt umber. I'm going to go back in with the burnt umber. Bring that colour right in. And then back in with our Mars brown. Lightly go over. That cream won't let you get it too dark. We just get that gorgeous chocolatey highlight. Okay. And then back in with our cream. We are going to put some white in, white highlights on anyway, but just so we get that lovely dark, rich colour. Just going back in here. Okay, so we're going to use the dark colours to give us our depth, and then we're going to use the red colours to change that tone completely. Let's do a little bit more together. So again, we're going to follow the dark lines that we've been given. So we're going to go in with our 70% warm grey. Let me get rid of that underneath there. You don't need to see that. My dirty mat is what I'm talking about. 70% warm grey. Let's do this bit, so we can get that lovely drippage going on. So I'm just going in and I'm going to follow those dark lines and really get that 70% grey in there. Okay, I'm going to put it on there too. There we go. Then our next colour, which is dark umber, I'm going to go around that. These are going to be quite dark because they're the drips where it's all sort of collected, but I still want to get that red in there, so I don't want to overplay the dark umber at this stage with it. Take a little bit of 70% warm grey and do around there. Don't forget, we can always go back in, and if we don't go too hard, we're not happy with it, we can erase it. Okay, I'm just going to get a bit more in there, a little bit there, just softening that out. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay, then we're going to go in with burnt umber. We're going to start introducing our chocolatey reds. Get that in that drip there. Oh, it's making me really hungry. Okay, then in with our Mars brown. Okay, we're going to do the same as we did before. We're going to just lightly fill in that space that's left, and we're going to grab our cream. Oh, hang on, there's something under my, there we go, something under my, on my mat. I'm going to smush. Here we go. Then we're going to go back with our Mars brown. God, I hope that was all on camera. Okay, and back to our cream. Put a little bit in there. There we are. Right, I want to just, I'm going to go back in with our Mars brown there. I've just made that highlight, I think, a little bit too. So anywhere that you feel needs to be more chocolatey of colour, just go back over with that Mars brown, which will give us that chocolatey richness. Okay, so that's how we're going to do all the gorgeous chocolate sauce, and we will put highlights in, so it will look even more shiny and gorgeous. We're going to do the can, or the tin, in the same mannerism, same way. So we're going to use the 70% warm grey. And again, following the lines, I'm going to put that in and just let that fade out a little bit. And we want a nice dark edge here. So we're going to put that in. And let that come out a little bit. Softly. And then down here. And here. Can you see? Yeah. And then here. Okay. Then we're going to take the dark umber, same as we've done before. They're really easy colours to blend, so right, this time I'm going to keep to sort of straight line, so it gives the illusion of the can this way, convex I think it is. So we're going to try and keep our shades in line with each other. So I'm just going to go in lightly, we will go back over. But I'm just going to try and keep it in a straight line. So backtracking, fill that in nicely. There we go. And then over here too. Okay, let's start to introduce our lovely red colour, our lovely red tones. So our burnt umber now. Yeah, so they blend, the colours blend really beautifully together, so it's not difficult to get a nice, smooth, even blend. All these elements, mainly in this page, are are small elements, so really good for practicing blending and shading. It's really, I find anyway, in particular, that I'm just going to twist you a little bit, that it's the big open spaces I find that are when you're sort of learning to colour, or even now, that are more difficult to get that smooth blend, because you have to work a lot harder. So we're just going back in, filling this up. Like I say, I'm going to try and keep this all in line with each other. So I'm going to make that line down there so I know where to go to. And I'll go back in a minute and smooth all that over. But let's just get that colour in first. Okay, soften that edge up. And then we're going to go in with our Mars brown. Okay, backtracking again. And we're going to get lighter as we go towards the edge, so like our highlight, like we do. So get that nice rich colour in, and then lessen off the pressure so that we can put that cream over the top. Dark around that cherry. See, even with the the undercolour, my hand's aching. But I am trying to do it quickly so that you can see and you don't get too bored. Okay, going over the whole thing with our lovely red. I can see this being one of my favourite colours. And the other thing is, when I do get the Arrtx, I know everyone's seen them and they've done reviews, but at least I'll be able to give an honest review on them and be able to share with you some of the pages that I've coloured with them, rather than just swatching, which is always good. You know, swatching's great, and I love swatching, I really do, but it doesn't always give you the best impressions, because you need to try them on different papers. And so I hope you'll join me when they come. They should be here tomorrow. I hope you'll join me when I do the video, and see what my real thoughts are on them. We can look at the new colours that they've got compared to the 72 set. I think it'd be good fun. Nice relaxing video, and a bit of honesty. There we go. Okay, let's get our cream in there. So we're going to go in with our cream. That was a big sigh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't... Makes it sound like it's a chore, and it really isn't, lovelies. I'm really enjoying it. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So I am really working in the cream. So I'm using quite a lot of pressure to keep that highlight in there. Okay, now we can go back in. So we're going to go back in with our chocolatey colours. So again, to the burnt umber, and let's just fill in any spaces we've got left to make sure that blends nice and smooth. We get that nice chocolate colour. Go. I did warn you that this is going to be a long video with possibly a couple of parts. 2 parts, I think, or I try not to do any more than that. And then Mars Brown again. Okay, let me give that a little bit of a brush off. Sorry about that. Notifications for favourite videos. Gives me something to get excited and watch. Okay, we're going to do the label. So I haven't done a base coat for this, because I'm just going to do it lightly. So I've just got 2 colours. I've got goldenrod and I've got cream. So we are going to go in and just give this label. I'm probably going to do the letters in gel pen or something. So using goldenrod, I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in there. So where it would be darkest. So around that corner. And then bring it out lightly. Where did I put it? Here. And then just let it come out lightly. And then down this edge. A little bit in there. Okay, and then we're going to blend through with our cream. So here's our label. We're going to blend through with our cream. And then just let that fade, and maybe keep some white space, so you don't have to fill the whole thing up. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is use my white Prisma. Just my white Prisma. It's well loved, as you can tell, look. And just blend that through. There we go. And it will just knock back that colour. There we are. So, where's my brush? There we go. Alright, folks. Let me just bring you out so you can see what's going on this beautiful page. Really enjoying doing it. Really enjoying it. Okay, so actually we haven't finished, have we? I haven't even finished the can and I've zoomed you out. Anyway, at least you got a little sneak preview. Don't look at my messy desk, folks. Stop it. Behave. So we're going to do the same thing for the lid of the can. A little bit of goldenrod and on the stripes. And on these. So a little bit in the dip. On the edge. And then the cream. I'm just going to sharpen that. Because they're tiny, tiny spaces. Okay. Cream. Just leave some white space. Sorry, it's because we're so zoomed in I keep losing you. There we go, and then sharpen my white. There we go, and we're just going to do some smush. Oops, gone over there. Let's just put that back in. There we go. Yeah. Paranoid now that you can't see what I'm doing. Okay. One chocolate sauce. One side of our chocolate sauce is done. So let's come out and have a look. Now we can see. Let's see. There we go. So when I come back, I will have had all the chocolate sauce done, and I think we're probably going to do one more element, which I think we might do the dragon. If I do this big dragon, then you'll be able to do the little dragon the same, so that will save time, and then we'll probably call it a day after that for video 1. Alright folks, I'll go and do that and I'll see you in a second. Alright folks, so I've finished all the chocolate. I'm really pleased with it. I'm wondering about putting some glossy accents on it actually, because I've copied it, and you could in your book because it's a single-sided page, but we'll see when we're done. So I've basted our dragons, our little guys, and these are the colours that I've used so far. This is just for the main body. We'll do the tummy and the bottom jaw and the ears on the other side of my ticket, so I haven't forgotten. So I use the Ohuhu Crescent Green, which is G193, to do his body, his actual scales, and then I used Naples Yellow, Ohuhu YG291, to do the ears and the tummy. So it should be dry. I've left it so that we're ready to go. Right, let me move that out of your way. Let's get organised, folks. Okay, so if I put that here, so I am going to use a little bit of black to make our green really dark in the areas that I want it. So I've just got the Prisma, but the black Arrtx pencil works really well, so you could use that too. So let's start. I'm going in here and I'm going to make this bit really dark. So I'm putting in, not too much, but I'm putting in a line of black Prisma around here. So where I want this to be really dark, the green to appear really dark, I'm just putting that little bit of black. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with our dark green, and I'm going to go over that black and it will draw it out. Like I said before, if you're not happy with it, we can always go back in. But it will make it really nice and dark. And I'm just following those lines the initial lines we were given. And then I'm going to start to bring that out, and you can see that dark green changing colour now as we come out. So we've got that really intense dark green, and then that colour starts to change as we can't drag the colour anymore. There we go. And we're going in with pea green, and as usual we're going to backtrack over that dark green. Now if you don't have the Ahoo markers, I'm going straight over this with the chartreuse, so don't worry. So we're going to use chartreuse, and we're going straight over that. There we go. Okay, now let's just go in and make sure that I've got everything covered, and I'm happy with that blend. There we go. And it just gives us that real intensity in the areas that I want the dark. So let's do round his little leg. So if I move you up a bit, make sure you can still see the colours. Okay, so I want, where's my picture? Okay, so I want that to get out of the way for a start. Okay, so I want the intensity. I'm gonna put it round up here, round his joint. A little bit round that banana. Bring that up. Just so it divides his leg out. Around the bowl. There we go. And we've got a little bit of tail showing here, so I'm going to do a little bit of black there too. Okay, and then we're going to go with our dark green. There's, like I said, a lot of elements on this page, so I haven't had much chance to chatter to you about bits and bobs, but we'll catch up. So I'm going to come right round there with that dark green. I'm going to go over the black lines from the artist, as we've done before, and in here, up there, okay, up his tail, like that. A little bit on this side of the tail, but I haven't put the black on there, so that's fine. There we go, and then we're going to go in with our pea green. We're getting further and further over that way. I'm pushing everything that way. Sorry. Pea green. Backtrack over the last colour we put down. I'm going to go up the side here to meet that bit of his leg. Bring that out. And then soften it up so that we can bring in that chartreuse. So, over the dark green and the black. So I did warn you it was going to be a long video because of all the little bits that are in it. So I am going to have to divide it up, which I did say I think before in the other clip, the clip before. But what I'll do is continue to work on them, and so that they come out almost back to back. So then our chartreuse. There we go, and then we can just add some more. I want a little bit more of the dark green in here, just to divide up that leg. Oh, I haven't done down here, so pea green, and that'll be quite dark in here, so Just going to fill that in with pea green. There we go. A bit more of that pea green. Isn't he just the cutest? Love him, it's gorgeous. Now this, I did use the colours that were in the original artwork. So we've got under his chin, so I'm going to come down here with black, because that's going to be really dark in there. And we're going to put a little bit around his elbow, around the base of his arm. A little bit. And there's a tiny bit under here of arm. There we go. So I'm going to fill that in first so I don't forget. So we're using dark green. Right, let's get me organised. Dark green down here. And avoid his fingers. There we go. And then we're going to go over that black that we've put down. It's going to be really dark in there, so I'm just going to use the dark green there. And then round his elbow where we put the black. Bring that up. And we start to see that original dark green colour come back, because we've pulled out all the black we can. There we go. And then pea green. And we'll just leave a little space for our chartreuse to go in. There we go. And mix that in. And we've got the little bit of his tail over here. So we've already put the dark green in, so I'm going to go in with pea green. I'm not putting chartreuse there because it will be too light. We'll just put the pea green in. There we go. Alright, let me give him a brush off. There we go. Right, his face now was my original practice piece. I'm just looking. Oh, I've got so many pieces, honestly, folks. Okay, so his face is green too. So let's bring out some of these spots I want dark. So I'm going to do round here. Almost give him a little cheek. Okay, down here. We're going to do round his little nostril. Like that. A little bit there. And a little bit round where he's stolen the chocolate sauce, look. Okay, just let me see. A little bit up here. Under his ear. Okay, let's just try that for a minute. I can always add. Alright. Dark green then. Put that back so you can see. Let's go in with the dark green. Let's do his face first. Dark green. Over where we've put that black. And then a little bit around there. So we'll bring that out. And we want a little bit of that dark green on its own, just up to his eye and under it. There we go. I think I'll just fill that with pea that side, pea green. And then we're going to bring that down that side. I'm sorry, my thumb's in the way. Okay, and then around his eye. Just a little bit. We need some space for that pea green. A little bit under that nostril. And under here. A little bit around that nostril. Over here. So I'm not using the black now for these bits because I'm going to make it lighter than this side. Okay, so pea green. We're going to put that in. And we're going to pea green up this side. And we're going to put the chartreuse in there. Okay, back in with the pea green. Lots of chopping and changing, folks. But this is the one bit I didn't practice, which was stupid, was his face. So I'm just going with the flow and just praying that it works out okay. A bit more pea green, I think. There we go. Alright, pea green up here. We'll bring that down a little bit under his little horn thing. Can you see everything? Around his nostril. Keep the shape of that nostril. Under here, where we've already put it quite dark. Bring that down round this side. And gently bring it round. Okay, let's put the chartreuse in what's left, and then we'll deepen it up. There we go. I think it worked out okay, thankfully. There we go. We'll go back with our pea green now. And just blend that through. There. Oh, panic over. He turned out okay. Mouth's gone all dry. It's ridiculous. I will have been doing YouTube for 3 years in March. So next month. And I still get really nervous about filming. You wouldn't believe it, but I've got about four pages where I've played with colours and stuff that for this picture that I photocopied, because I worry about getting it wrong. Oh, it's just madness. Okay, I'm just playing, smoothing things over. Okay, let's turn our page over, and these are the colours that I've got for his tummy and his horns. So we've got, I've basted this in a Hoo Hoo Naples yellow, which we've already mentioned. Then I'm going to use light umber, goldenrod and cream. Now I might go in with a little bit of a darker colour to make sure those divisions are really obvious around his tummy, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to give them a bit of a sharpen, because they are nice soft squishy pencils. There we go, and cream. It's a bit like we used in the banana, but okay. Alright, I'm going to turn you around slightly. So taking the light umber, I'm going into his little rings here, his little chubby bits. I'm going to bring that up, and then start, just really lightly bring it up. Our goldenrod's going to do the rest of that. Okay, goldenrod, sorry. Up around those lines. A little bit under there. Darker that side, and I'm just going to bring it out softly this side. Okay, and then cream. Alright, and then if you haven't got the Hoo Hoo markers, I'm just grabbing a white and just pulling in that cream and that that cream and that goldenrod together. There we go. And then I can just go back in with the goldenrod, because the white will stop it getting too dark. And then cream. Okay, so that's going to be our darkest bit, because that's under his arm. Let's look at the next bit. So we're going to add the light umber, all the way up there, and I am going to deepen that up just so it keeps his little rings visible. Okay, then then goldenrod. Bring that right up on that shaded bit. Lessen off the pressure. And then cream. Oh. Then a tiny bit of white. Just up on that side. Just so we get a nice highlight. Okay, and the reason why that worked so well is because I was doing the wrong bit, wasn't I? Okay, let's put our light umber in there. Goldenrod. And then cream. A little bit of white again. And back in with cream. Okay, right, what have we got? This little tiny bit down the bottom. I'm just going to fill in with goldenrod. There. Okay, so we've got one little tummy. What do you think, folks? It's very cute, isn't he? Just going to adjust my blend in there a little bit. Okay. And then the same round here. So, we're going to put that side, move my horrible painted plastic. Can you see? Right. So light umber under that little cheek we created. Light umber there, under for his jaw. And then the goldenrod. Leave a little bit of space for our cream. There we go. That's highlighted nicely there. Okay. And then we're going to do the same on his little ear rolls. So these are going to be a little bit lighter, I think. So I'm going to put our light umber in. A little bit of goldenrod. Not too much. And then the cream. Alright. And then on these ears, on the inside, I'm going to do the light umber. I'm going to make it a little bit darker as it comes here. And then softly bring up that light umber into our goldenrod. Then our cream. And really keep that quite light. Okay. And the same on this ear. So, light umber and goldenrod in there. So that's quite dark. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, aren't I? And then we'll have a little bit of light umber here. Just a little bit. Then we'll come in with our goldenrod. And then the cream. Okay, now I'm going to put some white in because I want them quite light. Put some white in there, and there, and that bit. Okay. We didn't do as his little fingers, look, down here, I didn't do them. Isn't that dark? And then his little fingers we'll just do in the light umber and goldenrod because they're quite dark under his stolen chocolate. There we go. And one final thing is like his little like rattlesnake tail. So I'm just going to do the light umber on this side, a little bit on the division, goldenrod, and then cream. There we go. Alright, now we've got an eye to look for. Now I had written these down for something else. So I'm going to cut off that. Now, these are the blues that I'd got out. And in the original, his eye is blue, and I'm going to keep it that way because it looks really lovely. So just have to choose which colours we're using. So I think I'm going to use the indigo blue, and then I'm going to go straight into ocean blue, and then the cornflower blue. Let's do that. So, indigo blue. I'm going to go in at the edge here, and round that pupil. And then go in with our ocean blue. I'm not worried about the highlight, I can put that back in myself. And then the cornflower blue. So I'm just going to concentrate on getting the shape of his eye right. I'm just going back in. He's got a really intensely blue eye, I like it. Okay, same on this side. So indigo blue around that pupil. In with our ocean blue. Might not have too much for the cornflower this side. And a little bit of cornflower. There we go. Right. Then I want no, we're not. We're just going to use the standard. I'm just going to use the standard black jelly roll. And I'm going to deepen up that pupil, and then I will put, when it's dry, I will put a highlight in there. This bit we can whiten out with a white gel pen. There we go. Right, let's just smooth this all over. It looks a bit scruffy around his face. Where I got panicky. Let's just smooth that out. With our pea green. Okay. Alright, be careful. Alright, let's come out and have a look where we are now. We are getting there, folks. So, the project for the next bit is for you to do this dragon the same as this dragon, which I know you can, because they look exactly the same. I'm just messing again. This is the dark green. I'm just finding spaces that I need filling in. Yeah, anyway, enough of that. So yeah, I want you to do the dragon, and then, so I'm going to call it a day for this video, I think. So when we meet back up, I'll have this dragon done too. It's going to be done the same. There will be a little highlight in his pupil, and then we can just concentrate on the other bits that are left. So then hopefully they won't take too long, but these were the bits that we really had to, let's come out a little bit more so you can see, that we really had to focus on together quite intensely. Okay, so I'm going to call this a part 1, and then I'm going to carry on colouring, and I'll probably release them together back to back. So yeah, so that, well, just so they're available straight away. Alright, my lovely friends. So until we meet again in the next video, in the next few minutes for you, take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Night night.